Welcome to episode 218 of the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm going over whether or not the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers are serious Super Bowl contenders. Can they win a Super Bowl? So on and so forth. You look at the Green Bay Packers, they're number one in the NFC right now. They'll likely finish number one in the NFC, get the first round bye, and hold home field advantage throughout the playoffs. To me, the biggest threat to the Packers was the New Orleans Saints. With them losing Michael Thomas is a big loss for the Saints. Good for the Packers because if your enemy gets worse, you obviously have less to worry about. However, that's just one team. Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf are still dangerous. The Rams, even after the tough loss to the Jets, are still dangerous. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are kind of a wild card team that we don't know what to expect out of. They're still dangerous. So, Packers aren't guaranteed to get a Super Bowl yet. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he deserves MVP this year. And you can arguably make the case that he's the best quarterback in football right now. I mean, I love Patrick Mahomes myself, and I might take him number one. I'd have to really look at who I want, one or two, no matter what. I feel like no matter how much of a critic you are, you have Aaron Rodgers at the second best quarterback in the league. He's on fire. He has a record for most 40 touchdown seasons. He set that this year, and to me, he is the NFL's MVP this year. So I love him. Davante Adams, top 5 receiver in the league. Him and Aaron Rodgers is arguably the best QB wide receiver duo in the league. The chemistry those two have is amazing. Best QB wide receiver duo in the league. Some other competitors for QB wide receiver duos is Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Then you got Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, even though he's hurt, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. So there's some talent for them to compete with, but I do think chemistry-wise, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are definitely at the top of that list. Then Aaron Jones is a solid running back, definitely above average back, and probably a top 10 running back in the NFL. But out of that triplet, out of the amazing quarterback, wide receiver, or running back, Packers are pretty weak. They're pretty much one-dimensional in their passing game with Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Yes, Aaron Rodgers has other receivers to throw to, but their main, I don't want to say they're one-dimensional completely, but they're one-dimensional reliantly. By that, I mean, if you take out Davante Adams from the game, the Packers are going to be in some serious trouble. Defense, not bad, not great. It's well-rounded. It's right around average. I mean, it's above average, but nothing for the Packers to brag about and to, show off as their strong suit by any means. So, to me, if you get a Jalen Ramsey locking down Davante Adams and taking away Aaron Rodgers' number one weapon, the Packers are definitely going to have some serious problem in the playoffs. For me, though, I do think just the type of season Aaron Rodgers having, a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder for the Packers drafting Jordan Love in the previous 2020 draft in the first round. To me, that's bullshit. How do you not have a chip on your shoulder about that? You could have got me somewhere, a player to help me and help to get this team to Super Bowl. Instead, you drafted a possible replacement for me. So I definitely think he has a little bit to show. He definitely has a chip on his shoulder, just a little bit of extra motivation. Yes, a Super Bowl ring is motivation in itself. That just has to get the pot stirring and put some fire in him to want to win even more. So to me, I think it's false when people say that has nothing to do with how well he's playing. I think it's definitely got him amped up just a little bit extra. But my prediction is how far they'll get. If they get the first round bye, which I expect them to, they'll likely in the second round of the playoffs, divisional round, be faced up with more than likely probably a Saints, Seattle, Rams, or Buccaneers team. Between those four, I think they could seriously take on any. I would be most fearful, to be honest, in the divisional round of the Buccaneers and the Rams, just because of Drew. They likely won't play the Saints because the Saints, if they stay second seed, there's no way 1 seed plays 2 seed in the divisional round. So that'll narrow it down to more than likely Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Rams, all assuming that the Cardinals and Washington gets bounced in first round. I think it's agreed by many NFL fans they're probably not going to make a deep playoff run, neither of those teams. So between them playing more than likely either the Rams, Seahawks, and Buccaneers, neither of them are amazing matchups, but if you do get the Rams, I do think you're kind of in trouble. Like I said, if Jalen Ramsey takes away Davante Adams and locks him down, Packers are going to be in some deep trouble. Buccaneers, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, great rivalry, and I love Tom Brady. Playoff Tom is a serious thing. However, Aaron Rodgers does have a benefit there with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers just not clicking this year. They have loads of talent, but they don't have chemistry. And that's one thing the Packers do have between Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Aaron Jones. Their tight end this year is starting to be on a touchdown rally. Good for Aaron Rodgers and his tight end having a touchdown streak. So that is a decent. None of these matchups are really like, oh, Packers got it. And the Seahawks, you got Jamal Adams and Carlos Dunlap creating pass rush, trying to lock up the secondary. Bobby Wagner, one of the best linebackers in the league. And then, of course, on the offense, Aaron Rodgers has to go toe-to-toe with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf. So, to me, the ideal team for Aaron Rodgers to play is more than likely, it's actually probably impossible for him to play the 3rd seed if the Seahawks win and beat the Rams, or beat Tampa, which would be the 6th seed. But let's just say the Rams fall out. Or the Seahawks fall down to the wild card spot. I think the Seahawks are the most ideal spot for the Packers to play first round, just because their defense has been so on and off this year, and Russell Wilson's offense has been very stagnant this past 4 weeks. Love Russell Wilson, love DK Metcalf, but they have not been producing any superb amount of offensive numbers by any means this season or these past few weeks. That's something that Aaron Rodgers would 100% capitalize. So I think if he gets a Seahawks matchup first round, he could definitely pull that off. Buccaneers, I think he can outplay them, even though we saw the Buccaneers and Packers play earlier this season. It wasn't pretty by any means for Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to assume week 4 Aaron Rodgers is going to be completely different than playoff Aaron Rodgers being in Green Bay where it's cold, out of the Buccaneers element. So that is a big advantage for him and the Packers as well, being at home field. And then, like I said, the Rams, they're kind of dangerous having Aaron Donald in the pass rush. And then if they take out Jalen Ramsey, that is my number one worry for the Packers. If you have a lockdown corner, take out Davante Adams, the entire Packers game scheme, game plan is pretty much, I don't want to say ruined, but it definitely takes a hurt. It takes a beating and gets hurt. But I truthfully think they won't get bounced in the divisional round no matter who they play. Just coming off a bye. The coach is great, and Aaron Rodgers, amazing coach, and quarterback duo in the Packers themselves also. I think they'll do great off a bye, have an extra week to rest and game plan. I think they'll do great in the divisional round, and then come NFC Championship. I think if they play the Saints, they could pull it off. I think people are underestimating this Michael Thomas loss. He was arguably the best receiver in the league last year. I know he wasn't the same this year due to injuries and suspensions, but the talent is still there, Michael Thomas. And the Saints not having him, Drew Brees not having a solid number 1 receiver. Yes, Emmanuel Sanders is good, but he was a great number 2. It's hard for him to step up and take Michael Thomas's place. I do love Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook, and Alvin Kamara in the backfield, but you can't replace what Michael Thomas held in that offense. And I think Aaron Rodgers could truthfully make the Super Bowl. If I'm truly putting my money on it, I do think the Packers will make the Super Bowl out of the NFC. If I was forced to pick right now, Packers is my pick, even with Tom Brady, even with Jalen Ramsey and the Rams, even with Russell Wilson, the Seahawks, and Drew Brees. I think the Packers will make the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I just think even them having a somewhat one-dimensional offense, I think Aaron Rodgers is just on fire this year, MVP worthy, and I think he's going to rally through the NFC. But making it to the Super Bowl, you haven't even done the hardest part yet. You got to face, more likely than not, the dynasty or the making of the dynasty in the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, MVP runner-up, if not, might steal the MVP from Rodgers, the other best quarterback in the league. And that offense is, I don't want to say 10 times better than Rodgers, but 10 times more loaded than Aaron Rodgers' receiving core between Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, McCole Hardman, Le'Veon Bell, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. I love Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if he could go toe-to-toe with that. My prediction is that the Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowls. Even if the Bills upset the Chiefs, the Bills are such a hot team right now. I do think the AFC will come away with the Super Bowl if it's the Chiefs or Bills. Josh Allen's on fire. Patrick Mahomes is always on fire. I love Aaron Rodgers to make the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, I just think the Chiefs, they're meant to be a dynasty. They are a dynasty at this point if they win back-to-back years. I mean, obviously, Aaron Rodgers has a chance. If you make it, you have a chance to win it, of course. And I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers pulls off the upset. But if I'm putting my own money on the line and I'm forced to pick, I think the Packers make it there but lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills do give them a better chance, but even them, I think, can stop Aaron Rodgers and win a game. Stephon Diggs is helping the Bills out tremendously this year. but I'm relying on the Chiefs. Not relying, but expecting the Chiefs to make it, and I expect them to beat Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised no matter what the outcome is, but if I'm putting my own money on the lines, Packers Super Bowl contenders, yes. Packers Super Bowl winners, no. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any other videos you want to see, 2-minute warning.